Okay, we are live. Yay. Okay, I know they were looking forward to coming in tonight. I told them you was going to have a lot to say.
Oh, I do. I do.
On which show? Both or bold?
It's both.
Both. Okay.
Sharon is a stupid. Or why does she go to this funeral? Why? For
Yeah,
what?
but why? But why? You're
Like,
absolutely correct, Bree.
and then I'm trying to think of what else happened. I felt for Daniel. I even felt for Phyllis. I felt for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about Amy Lewis being a scam artist. I think her son might be a scam artist too, but I hope he's fine at least. I don't know. There's so much stuff. And then Bold is his own kerfuffle.
I know, right?
Oh my
Oh man,
goodness.
how many people we got to chat, girl? Because look like they just started coming in. Hey, Monique, Blackpink Me, Joyce, Aisha, Belinda, Sandra, Melissa Spencer,
Looks like we
Cheryl,
got, let's
Indigo
see,
Blue.
17 people so far.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. All right, welcome you guys to Soap Corner Talk. It's the midweek chat, you guys. Of course, with me, T, and we got Bree on the line tonight. And we just going to try to play a little bit of catch up as we usually do on the midweek chat for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And Bree got a lot to say.
And you know what? I think they know it too. I think both shows know, especially when we do the midweek chat, because all the good stuff happens on Wednesday, it seems like.
It sure does. It definitely seemed like it happened on Wednesday. All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and dive into Young and the Restless. And okay, let's start at the beginning of the week because we had and we kind of talked about this during the midday on those last couple days where we saw Kyle and oh Lord, Claire. Kyle and Claire trying to get this freak on, and here comes Summer. Now she couldn't just go get the purse and walk up out the house. Phone.
Or cell phone.
Yeah, get the phone and walk up out the house. But she's happened to see Claire's purse there and decide that she need to be nosy.
Yeah, and like just nosy and just disrespectful. She was like, well, I left my phone here. Is Harrison okay? Maybe I need to go check on him. Oh, you checked on him? Well, I saw Claire's purse here. Is she still here? What is she still doing here? I'm like, girl, you got a whole filet mignon. You got a piece of steak.
I know that girl. You got Chance, the handsome chief of police, military man, Secret Service, FBI dude, whatever you want to call him, served the country man, and you worried about what's going on with Kyle and Claire.
Yeah, as you see, this is the downward spiral for Chance and Summer, and if because I was watching Thursday's episode,
How was it?
It's very interesting. You see Diane, you'll see Kyle, and Nikki on my last nerve. Mm. Pick a side, lady. That's all I gotta say.
Okay.
But yeah, Chance and Summer definitely had their moment, and it definitely looks like the end. Even he questioned it. So yeah, it's not looking too good for those two. But I honestly thought Summer would be a little bit more, aggressive and actually make her way up the stairs. I was surprised that she was just calling from the bottom of the stairs. Like, no, you're Phyllis's daughter. You're aggressive. You go up the stairs.
Girl, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even came. I mean, she's yelling. I'm sitting up there talking. He's like, Kyle, Claire. And you talking about, and you know her excuse was, I saw Claire's purse here. I thought something was wrong with Harrison. Like, there was no other reason for Claire to be there. That ain't none of your business. Why she's there.
Yes. And You got a whole man.
Mm-hmm.
Like regardless, it doesn't matter if Claire was upstairs. It could have been anybody. You're not with Kyle. But this is exactly what I've been saying, what we all been saying in the summer when she was trying to get custody over Harrison. It was about this man. It had nothing to do with that child because she was concerned about him being around Claire and being around Audra.
Mm-hmm.
So now all of that's cleared up and she's happy that they're getting along and they're hanging out and everything feels normal and things are rocky between her and Chance now. Now Kyle is looking like a bright, shiny little object that she wants to have.
Mm-hmm.
And her true colors showed about her jealousy.
Yep.
Had none of this ever had to do with Harrison. She could have kept everything the way it was because technically speaking, everything is the same. He's still at that house.
Mm-hmm.
She can come and go as she please.
Mm-hmm. Girl.
And Harrison's good to go.
I know, right? And it's like, girl, just go home. That's all you had to do. Go get your phone and leave. But no. And then Claire, we kind of touched on this a couple days ago about how she ripped that man's shirt open, and I was like, you look like a pro at this, girl. What you mean?
Mm-hmm. The kind of looking like Luna over there, you know.
Right.
She used to look virtuous, but now I don't know how many. But she was definitely ready. I'm like, this man is not taking you out on a date. I've not said. I mean, you guys are going to have a relationship. She just saw Summer. She was like, okay. And then he kissed her, and then all of a sudden now she's ready. Now she's a big girl now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big kid now.
Girl, you feel it. I'm sitting up there like, and then when Summer did that whole fiasco, then Claire was like, oh, well, you know what? Maybe that's a sign that maybe it's not the right time. I'm like, Summer ain't got nothing to do with that, girl. If you want to get your man going on up there and do what you got to do.
Yeah. See, this is the little girl in her. Because if the roles were reversed, Summer would have wasted no time.
And tell me about it. Because I was mad. I'm like, okay, we going to get a little romance today? And of course not. I'm like, dag nabbit, Summer.
Only when you said it, of course not. And that's the theme of this year, 2024. Of course not.
This is the year of lack of romance. Oh, jeez.
Just kissing and in commercial breaks.
Girl.
Oh, Tommy, I'm right here. Hi, Tommy, and everyone. My son is doing okay. I kept seeing the comments. Mm-hmm. My son is doing fine. He's good to go. Cannot wait for him to go back to school.
Oh, and the fever's gone.
Fever's gone. His doctor cleared him. He's good to go. His hearing opened up, so it's a whole new world for him. So we'll see how he's going to function while he's in school now.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. All right, we got to talk about this situation with Amy Lewis and Nate.
The scam artist.
Scammer. Yeah, absolutely. And it was crazy that he rejected her, twice? And then she's talking about, well, the reason I need the money. It's like, girl, if you just came there for money, you should have just started off with that.
And when I went back to this episode, like the entire story was kind of sketchy to the point where every time I looked back while I was cutting up my potatoes, I'm listening to her. She said that he reminds her of Big Nate. And I'm like, that he was a good man. I'm like, how would you know if Big Nate was a good man? You got with this man while you were in high school. You don't know how this man turned out to be as an adult. And plus, you were married to a whole other man for however long. Girl, you said that you didn't have any contact.
Yeah, that whole story is something off about this whole thing. I mean, just the fact of the matter that she want him to do all of the legwork. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not only do you want this man to track the boy down, Then you want
Mhm.
want him to drop the bombshell that you're sick and you're about to pass away. And then you want him to drop the bombshell that, oh yeah, by the way, the person you thought was your dad was not your dad. It was our dad. And hello, I'm your half brother.
Yeah. And also flip the bill.
And
What
foot
the
the
hell is going
bill,
on, my
right.
son? Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Damien is supposed to be older than Nate, right?
Yep.
Wasn't it like on Monday or Friday when she told him about Damien? Didn't she say that it was like it's been like a couple years since she spoke to him?
Mm-hmm.
Now she's saying that he was acting out wild while he was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then after his dad had passed, after like high school, she hasn't talked to him in several years. So is it a few years or is it several years? Because she's making it seem like he left after high school.
Yeah, that whole thing was so weird. I mean, and I kind of zoned out because I'm like, what's the end game? All I know is that obviously she's up to something, or maybe it's the way that they just want to write in this Damien character. I don't know. I still want to know who he is. But,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, okay, can we get past all of this? Are y'all gonna go get this man and bring him on screen somehow? Is Nate just
Oh,
gonna run into him or what? Go ahead.
something tells me he might pop up at this wedding because they're making a big deal about like all these random people coming to this wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Something big is going to happen. He could be like part of the catering crew. Like there's no telling. But my thing is, she said that he had bad behavior. He was asking for money and all of this. So you want Nate to go to this man, and he already is non-reliant when it comes to money. He's already trying to pull money out of you,
Right.
and you didn't want to help him. But when he gets wind that he has a rich brother, what do you think is going to happen?
Exactly.
None of this is making any sense, and I want to empathize as a viewer, but I can't.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't know. I guess we just have, and that's a good point, Bree. Maybe they'll bring him in during the wedding somehow, because there's supposed to be a unexpected surprise visitor, but that could be
Mm-hmm.
anybody. And I mean, I would think it would be somebody that would technically impact the wedding, but what would Damien have to do with the wedding if he was this special visitor or whatever?
Right. And Gail Lewis, we don't know if he might be a good guy or a bad guy. The way his own mother is painting him, he's coming off like as a bad guy.
Yeah, that he had a reckless lifestyle and that type of thing, which I'm not happy about that. But
And then he can't keep a job,
right.
and he's asking people for money, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, writer.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, you said it right, Bree. Okay, writers. Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see when they're gonna let this guy pop up and who he is. Is he attractive? That would be cool, but I don't know if I like the fact of how they framing this character. So
Yeah, and then she's putting this all on Nate. He doesn't know this woman.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you want a complete stranger? Because that's what he is. That maybe his brother, and he asked the correct questions too. It's like, you allegedly have this is allegedly my brother, and she just was prepared to have a piece of hair and to get
Yeah.
DNA tests and his birth certificate, his social security number. So you had all this information, but can turn this into the police.
Yeah, you could have gave that to a professional. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not a DNA. He doesn't have access to a DNA. What they call that, bank or whatever.
Yeah.
To try to connect genetics or whatever. She got all that stuff. She could have took it somewhere else, but she don't want to. She don't want to pay for it. She want him to do it and do all of it. And it's like, girl, if you don't go somewhere. Another thing is, Nate rejected her twice, and she kept pushing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, do anybody understand the word no? I mean,
Right.
obviously Sharon don't understand either, but it's like when somebody tell you, I don't think no, I don't think I'm not the one to do this. And you can, oh, yes, you are. Who are you talking to?
Yeah, this is coming off like like a scammer. Like, she's very desperate too, but she has time to go visit her friends in Genoa City.
Exactly.
So she's not all that pressed to go find out where her son is.
Right.
But, and then you keep in mind, she's also the daughter of a former police chief.
Right. So you mean to tell me he had no connections she could talk to?
Exactly. See, this right here, like I said yesterday, scam artists.
All right. We had a little moments with Billy and Sally, and then when Sally and him went on their little whatever. I'm not interested in Billy. I know there's some people in my chat that are interested in Billy and Sally. I'm not really, I could care less. But after they didn't make it past her bedroom door, he got that threatening text message from Jill talking about time running out. He tracks down Lilly, and Lilly is like, well, unless you're no longer the CEO, we ain't got nothing to talk about. And I'm like, really, girl?
Why are these people, but why are they even talking and mixing and mingling with this girl? Why? She's not grateful for any job.
No.
She has no job whatsoever. He's offering her co-CEO or something like that.
Yes.
And that's not good enough for her. She was really expecting this man to step down so she can run his family's company. Girl, stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
She ain't lost her mind. I'm sitting up there like, this girl, I mean, for somebody that wants something that she's not even entitled to.
Yeah.
I mean,
still crying about it.
You know how we connected Amy with Sharon. Now I got to connect Lilly with Hope and Carter. It's like, you're not entitled to that. You don't have no birthrights to anything except Lilly has a birthright to the Winters Company.
Yeah. And she really doesn't care to acknowledge her own family's company. She's like, oh, it's there. Like, don't make me go back there. Like, I put all this time and effort into Chancellor. So did a lot of CEOs.
Exactly.
You're not special.
And you the one.
And I wish.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I wish somebody just tell this girl that. You are not all that special.
Yeah, well, Devon was trying to tell her, but look, just come on back to Winters, and she had a whole conniption. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Just let her sit out there on the island by herself. Sit on Delulu Island right there by herself.
Oh, she won't be by herself. There's plenty. That's what I was asking you earlier. How many people are on Delulu Island? I mean, they filled all these people.
Girl. Yeah, Lilly.
It must be nice.
And then somebody else that's on Delulu Island right now, which is separate from the Sharon storyline. Phyllis is still thinking that she got a job over at Chancellor. And she is begging and pleading. And I'm like, po thing.
I feel so bad. I'm like, oh, girl. You know what I wish could happen? And maybe, writers, if you're listening, send her over to Jabot.
Yeah, I mean,
keep in mind.
Well, she was working over there until the whole she faked the death thing, and then she lost her job, right?
Yeah, I believe so. And like, if I'm going based off of like my theory about the whole Jack and Diane thing, I think Diane is working alone. If Jack wants to get revenge when he sees that she's working with Victor, hire Phyllis back over at Jabot. I mean, that's just, what I wish could happen if she moseys her way away from Billy, because Billy, he's, and as much as we wanted this pairing to be happen, co-workers, like, it looks like it's not happening. Unless a miracle happens and Victor tells Jill about the Odyssey 7 thing. But only time will tell with that. But
Yeah.
She is on the Lulu Island. Phyllis is still my girl, though. But
Speaking
just let it go.
of speaking of Phyllis, she decides to hatch a plan to corner Sharon by gaslighting her by saying, "I know what you did." And she looking at, I mean, Sharon tried to play it off earlier this week when they were over at the coffee house. But what got me with Sharon is the fact that she should not have went to that service.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's a couple things that happened. Phyllis said, "Oh, I have proof that
Right.
you did."
Yeah, that
And
was
then
the
she started,
gaslighting, right?
yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
then Nick comes around the corner. She's like, maybe I should get a protective order, a restraining order against Phyllis.
Mm-hmm.
You just told Nick this, and then you up and decide you still want to go to this woman's funeral.
Well, here's the progression of that whole string of thought. When she got there all dressed up at the coffee house, she told Nick and Faith, "I don't know if I should be here." And then they said, "Well, if you don't think this is a good idea, don't go." And then she said, "Well, no, 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 I need to be there." Both
Yep.
of them gave her an out. And then when Daniel
Daniel.
saw her, Daniel said, "You know what? I would prefer maybe you not be there." "Oh no, I need to be there." And then he went on to proceed to tell her about what Phyllis planned to do, and she still chose to be there.
Yeah.
I'm like, and after that, I was like, you know what? Whatever happens, it's on you, boo boo, because you had an opportunity to go home and sit this out.
Right. She could have sent some flowers, like she could have just stayed away from the situation altogether.
Together.
That was always an option.
Listen, Paul ain't
So
even at the funeral. Lucy ain't even at the funeral. You didn't need to be there.
I was actually really upset with the writing with that. So they really couldn't call Doug Davidson to come. Like, I'm so sick of them mentioning Paul, and Paul's not there. And this is the first time Christina ever mentioned Paul since she got her divorce, in all honesty.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she could have stayed home. She's not family.
Mm-mm.
So nobody would miss her. Daniel's even saying, like, I prefer for you not to be there. That's that woman. That's Heather's husband. And you are just want to be like, oh, I'm gonna go and pay respects. Were never close with Heather like that.
Right. I mean, if the main person, the husband, a spouse, a boyfriend, is saying, "I don't want you there," I think that's your cue to go home.
Yeah,
And
go
then you
home.
know Phyllis is coming for you. Why would you go into that?
Yeah, and to be honest, it actually kind of worked because tomorrow's episode it raised some suspicion for Summer too.
Well, that's what she get. Because my thing is, you gave her ammunition. You over there and see how they, and actually I gotta say I didn't know what Phyllis was gonna do, but she did the perfect thing by having everybody speak on Heather's life and their connection.
Yep.
And it was eating Sharon alive.
Mm-hmm.
So Phyllis,
You know what
it
would
was
have done it?
perfect. She didn't get in her face until the last moment. But it was the perfect thing to do because now you got to sit up here and listen about how all of this affects so many people.
I think it would have made that woman crack if Lucy or Paul was there.
Mm-hmm.
She would have cracked under pressure.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree. Because there was no reason, for her to be there. And then Phyllis like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to make a scene. I'm not going to do something crazy. I'm going to even keep it as part of the service. Let's all speak on Heather's life. I'm like, oh, well. And that girl was over there cringing. She got over there by them stairs and was bent over like she had cramps or something. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, well, you know what, Sharon? You could have stayed at home.
Yep. And see, this is where Cameron Kirsten actually should have came into play. I'm like, she couldn't think with all parts of her brain. He controlled all the important parts of her brain. Now without him, she don't know what to do. And I'm a little disappointed that we didn't see Heather's ghost. I thought with everyone paying tribute, I thought like she would like freak out when she sees Heather ghost when everybody is speaking. I don't know. That would have been like a writer or producer thing that I would have done. Maybe they can catch CBS or whoever can catch it and utilize Heather's ghost, because that was really terrifying. That was getting to Sharon a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. And we did also see Michael sniffing around trying to get Cricket to tell him about the evidence, because he's trying to help out Phyllis, but she almost had her at that door. But she was able to muster up saying, I didn't do this, and ran out. I'm like, girl, well, you know what? That's what you get.
Yeah. I don't feel sorry for her at all.
We had just said that yesterday, Bree. She better not go to that service. And what'd she do? She forced her way into it.
Yeah, it's her own fault. She's going to rat on herself.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's what's going to end up happening. And then whoever her defense team is going to try to prove that Sharon didn't do it. I don't know. But once again, there's so much stuff in play with this whole unaliving of Heather. We got that random octopus. We got that blackout moment. Like there's so much that needs to be explained with all of this. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
The other part of this writing I didn't like is the fact that they had Lucy not be there for her mom's service. You know what I'm saying? I think what they should have did the service and then send Lucy to be with her granddad.
I agree. Like, I don't know if I could have had someone have a whole service for my mother and I not be there to show my respect.
Exactly. That part didn't make sense to me. You knew you were going to send her away. Do the service, let her say her goodbyes and pay respect to her mother, and then send her off to the granddad. That would have made more sense to me. I just think they didn't think that through. Or else, maybe the actress that played her, maybe she had to do other stuff, Because I know, what is her name? Lilly
something. I can't think.
Brooks or something like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I just thought the way that was weird. It was kind of backwards to me. It's like, you sent out of town and then do the service? That didn't make sense to me, so.
And you know what else is weird? Heather has a whole sibling. She has a father. There was like no mention.
She has a mother too, April.
Yeah, someone said it in chat. Like, they really could have casted, like, even if it was like a guest starring role, cast them and actually like bring them on. Like, she had family. She had all this family. You have like random people. You got Nick and Faith who had nothing to do with Heather. They never associate with each other like that.
Yeah. And then I agree with what they saying in the chat. This storyline has been way too long. So they started this way back in the spring when Faith came home from school. This has been going on since May.
That's what?
6 months.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is, and we didn't reach the tipping point until what, September?
Right, when we did the 30th anniversary for Sharon on the second or third week of September, and then the 30th anniversary for Phyllis on October 18th.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to pray and keep my fingers crossed that November sweeps, we come to a close of something. I actually would like for her to get caught or something. I hope, writers, please listen to us. Do not drag this out into 2025. I mean, by 2025, she need to be in jail or Fairview or something. or like the real person who did it, comes into like, I don't know.
Yeah, they need to
Something has to
close
give.
this up. Let's get to the end game on this one, because all this started with her coming home, Lucy being obsessed, then started hanging out. The accident happened, and then she triggered Cassie in her mind, and I mean it's just been a domino effect from the May sweeps, and now we're in November sweeps with the same storyline.
Yeah. Sherelle Jefferson says I'm done with this storyline. I don't blame you. It's I mean, don't get me wrong, like it's been great acting on Sharon Case's part. She's definitely cemented herself to getting an Emmy nomination for next year. But at the same time, we need to move the storyline along. I mean, we saw Cameron Kirsten in that same shirt for how many months?
You got about a good 2-3 months.
Yes. Like, there's just so much, I don't know. A lot of people are looped into this woman's storyline, and it seems like it's slowly dragging. But I'm hoping that November Sweets will have it come to a close.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm like, well, Redneck said he's not done with it yet. He's loving this storyline.
Okay. See, like, it's not a bad story. It's just long.
It's just long. I want to know. I need answers. And I don't mean whether she's going. I need answers, like you say, about the octopus and the blackout.
Yeah, exactly. And we haven't got any hints towards that. Everyone, like all of her ghosts, all 40 of them, has stated that she did this. So, like, I'm just not sure what the next direction would be besides her getting caught or her ratting on herself.
Yeah. And I mean, I gotta give a shout out to Michelle Stafford and Sharon Case in today's episode, because the emotion between those two ladies. Sharon was looking like she was having a mental breakdown, and Phyllis was begging and pleading for this. I was like, I could imagine when they say "and cut," they had to be like, "Girl, you rock that out." Oh my God, yeah, you too. I mean, they did a good job on that one when they were standing by that door.
But they've been working together for 30 years on and off, and like it shows they're comfortable. They know their range of emotions and action. Like, this is great acting from both of them. I just, like I said, it's a great storyline. Don't need to be sorry, Rednecks. You enjoy the show just like everyone. It's just just come to a conclusion. I'm hoping November Sweets we get to find out how, like, flashes of her blackout, or like the DNA that's on the octopus,
right?
Because they haven't even said anything about that. Nope. Or like said they found footprints or like something on the doorknob or like anything.
Yeah, I just don't understand how, if you was the one that did that, how do you not know? You cleaned up everything else, but you leave the actual weapon at the scene of the crime. Unless you don't know what it was. I mean, if you poked somebody with something sharp, you knew that's what it was. Was there blood on her hand? Because when you hit somebody with that thing, there should have been some blood on her hand.
Yeah, there should have like an impression on that octopus, because isn't it like glass or like
it's like a hard ceramic type silver thing. It's not like plastic. That thing is hard. I'm trying to describe it. Not marble or anything, but
either which way, there's no excuse for them not to pull fingerprints and see that it's Daniel's handprints were not on that. Like, they need to answer the fans' questions. So writers, producers, if you're listening, help us out. We want to go along the ride with you like Rednecks, but it's moving a little slow for some of us.
Yeah, I agree. All right, how many people in the chat, girl?
Yeah, 105 this evening.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to Bold. And this has pretty much been one run-on storyline. I mean, it did loop characters like Katie into the mix, and Will, because they were talking about what happened with Hope. But all this is basically an effect of Hope stupidly using a public office in a corporate setting to put on lingerie and shock somebody that she don't really know that's even coming back to the office.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know where to begin with this. I've never seen someone quick to talk trash and talk smack about everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But she cannot come with any excuse whatsoever to defend herself. Mm-hmm. Only thing that she can say is, oh, I'm a Logan. They hate the Logans. Girl, you're for one, you're not a lingerie model. Mm-hmm. What you trying to lingerie for?
Girl.
Like, you could have said that you found, like, you saw your mother's pieces and you wanted to try it out. She could have said anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's a mess. And I know we kind of talked about it last week.
Oh, thank you, Rednecks.
We kind of talked about it last week in regards to come up with something to tell Steffy. Well, now that ship has sailed and she was escorted off the property, well, at least to the elevator, she escorted herself off the property. And then they gave us that scene with Carter and his Camaro pulling up and get me out of here. You know, and they head over to, what you say, Bree?
Get me out of here, Carter. Girl. They hurt my feelings. And he looking at the Forester sign like they're not going to get away with this. He keeps saying this, but I'm like, what are you going to do, sir?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so lost. But even before that, she had a lot to say in front of those girls, mm-hmm. those models and those interns. So now you can fester up and find something to say, just to remain a victim. Mm-hmm. But when Steffy and Ridge, who were in control of your line and your job position at the company, asked you flat out, who were you wearing it for? What were you doing? You just, you got nothing to say.
Yeah, and then when she got over to her mom, she talking about, I didn't have an opportunity to explain. She gave you 4 opportunities to explain. You didn't want to open your mouth. You kept it a secret. And she told on herself when she told both Brooke and Carter, well, I didn't want to say anything because I don't want to, to let them know what we're doing, and I don't want them to come after you. So did you have a chance to explain, or did you not use the opportunity because you wanted to cover for Carter?
See, exactly. Talking out both sides of her neck. It can't be both. It can't be both. She could have said any man. Tony the Tiger. She could have said Tommy Smith. She could have said Dewan. She could have said Redneck. She could have said any man.
I don't know if Redneck's wife is listening.
Oh, goodness. No. Sorry, Rednecks. I don't want to put you in that. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. But you know what I mean. Like any man. I said J Money.
Yeah, you said J Money. What was that? Monday or whatever?
Yesterday. Yeah, anything. Like there was plenty of like anything. Mm-hmm. But she's saying that she wasn't given an opportunity. That bothered me a lot because Steffy actually did. And had she said like, oh, she was wearing like even Liam. Mm-hmm. Especially since she knows this man wants to get back with her. Like there's other ways this girl could have handled this, and the fact that she wants to keep all of this a secret makes absolutely no sense. She's crying about the job and is saying like, oh, maybe it's a good thing I did get fired. Maybe I don't want to go back. Which is it?
Right. She sure did, because she was freaking out about my line and she shouldn't do this. And then she's like, well, maybe I don't want to go back there. Maybe this is what?
You saw that too. Rednecks, you better, where's your wife? Where is your wife?
Oh my God, girl, I'm like, Hope. And then Carter is like, look, This is, and I wish she would listen to both her moms because they keep going back and forth. They start with, well, it looks a certain way because you were in lingerie, but still, Steffi hates you. It's like she need to be held accountable. You made a bad decision. You shouldn't have been there with the lingerie on, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm. I don't understand the point of the secrecy. Even Carter was like, "Look, like I'm not worried. Like I'm not scared. Like if I say I'm with you, I'm with you. Okay." And this is coming from the lawyer.
I mean, can't nothing be. Listen, Eric got over Carter being with Quinn. This ain't nothing near anything like that.
Yeah.
You ain't cheating on, you're not a side chick to one of his wives or something. Y'all are two single consenting adults who wants to, figure out whether or not this can be a relationship, a date, or whatever you guys are doing. I don't understand why the big secret.
Yeah, I think she gets off on secrecy. She gets off on getting it in the office, and she likes, hopping around, sneaking around. You know what it is? It's the fact that she still doesn't want to define anything. She wants to. That's her way of having control.
I was just thinking that.
Because if nobody knows,
yeah,
everyone feels sorry for her.
Well, I mean, and then she would have to explain to everybody. Well, I mean, listen, the worst part of the story is out there. You were in lingerie in the office. You dating Carter would soften that blow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it had nothing to do with Finn. Finn would just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and she happened to be using that office for the wrong purposes in that moment. It was all a big misunderstanding. We all know that, but all she got to do is just say what it was. And Carter is like, because she's trying to protect him according to what's coming out of her mouth. And Carter was like, I don't need protecting. Let's just clear this up.
Yeah. And yeah, Carter is definitely thinking with his wrong head of Vicky Langer. And Sandra, she made a very valid point. How is Forrester hopeless birthright?
The only birthright that she has is Il Giardino.
Right.
And any money that Brooke might leave her or the house. Forrester Creations has nothing to do with a birthright. I actually had this conversation earlier, Bree. Brooke's bedroom line is intellectual property of Forrester. They own it. It'll be just like if you you work for a corporate company or whatever, and you create a project or a what they call it, a concept or a project, right? And you get it going, they make it as part of one of the services that they provide. You don't own any shares in that company, and if you decide to quit or get fired, unless you sign a contract that allows you to take that property with you, it's owned by the company. That was the whole issue with Daniel's game, remember?
Yeah, I agree. And when I think of birthright, I think Rick and Bridget, RJ, that is their birthright because of who their fathers are.
Correct. Just like Will has a birthright to Spencer Publications.
Exactly. Exactly. And if she has a birthright at that company, then she wouldn't be fired like an employee.
Correct.
So, and I know we'll get to that conversation about Broken Ridge.
Girl, you can go there. Go there.
The fact that she said that Hope and Steffy are on the same level.
They equal. She said they were equal.
I'm like, how? How? Now, granted, yes, I know Steffy is technically a Maroney. I get that. But she has actual family ties within that company.
Bree.
Hope is not Eric's granddaughter. She's not Ridge's daughter. She's not Thorne's daughter. Like, there's actual family members who will be well ahead of her.
Bree.
Even her own brother, RJ. Like, this makes absolutely no sense. Even Marcus has a family stake and claim within Forster Creations.
Zende has one through Kristen.
Exactly, Zende, and then you got Rosie, who's Amber and Marcus's daughter. Like, there's just she's at the bottom of that list, and quiet as is kept, Brooke is at the bottom of that list, especially since she's not married to either of those men. She's solidified, a legacy for her children through the men of that company.
But that's about it. Here's the thing. Whether Steffi is a Maroney, Forster, macaroni and cheese, or whatever else, she owns 37.5% of the shares in that company. And she is not on equal footing as Hope. Hope don't have any type of shares or anything in that company.
Yeah, exactly. I was really surprised that Brooke say that. She really thinks that Hope is on the same level as Rick, Bridget, and RJ. Mm-hmm. And they're not. They're not. Mm-hmm. And, I understand that Hope grew up within that company like everyone else. But when you talk about legacy and birthright, Carter and Hope have literally lost their minds. Mm-hmm. Because neither of them have it. That's why I'm looking at Carter crazy. I'm like, you're going to do what? They can get away with it. Even Hope was like, look, that's their company. Case closed.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. Brooke was talking to Ridge like he was her child.
Yeah, well, I'm about child, but, child. She had this whole expectation that anything that Brooke says goes. And she's like, why can't you be on my side? And he was like, well, why can't you be on my side? Like, your daughter was in the wrong, and maybe she needs to learn a lesson from this. And she's like, how dare you say that? How dare you? Like, you're always supposed to be on my side. And you know what? That's Ridge's fault.
Yep.
Because he always sides with this woman. And it's almost like a knee-jerk reaction. And she expects it.
And she wants him to take her response on good faith that all this is a misunderstanding. But she won't tell him why. Because you're trying to keep that stupid secret for Hope.
Yeah. But it's just, it makes absolutely no sense. I'll never understand Ridge. And I say that because he's going all just back and forth for Brooke, but going back and forth with what? Say that you support your daughter's decision and it's the correct decision. And if Brooke is not trying to feed you the correct information about why he should, reverse his decision to let Hope go, then he needs to be like, look, I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to bed. What's done is what's done. Mm-hmm. And let that be. And Cheryl Hines, Carter and Marcus were adopted by the same parents, but Eric was married to Donna at one point, and he actually adopted Marcus. So he's legally a Forster.
Mm-hmm. What else I was going to say? So the other part of that conversation Ridge had with Brooke, because he was like, he did try to put his foot down a few times in that conversation.
Barely. It was still off the ground a little bit because you can tell in his facial expressions, like he's he wants to support everybody. And the thing is, you can't appease everybody. But I am glad that he said, like, look, this is a decision Steffi made. Your daughter, from what my daughter was saying, was acting well. So it's about time, maybe she needs to learn the lesson. But I feel that those tears are getting to that man. Her crying, her saying that you're not taking my side, Rich. How dare you do that? That's going to pull on this man's heartstrings like it does every time. And if it doesn't, I'll be pleasantly surprised. Mm-hmm. But a part of me feels he's going to reverse on this decision and try to get Hope back because of Brooke.
What you think about the love scenes today, girl?
They were real love scenes.
Well, first, Steffi and Finn, they started making out. We got a commercial, and then when it got back, they were done on the couch.
Yeah, she said, I really needed that. I'm like, oh, well, there goes that.
Right.
But she looked like they had like a hell of a time, and, we never got to see it, per usual.
Mm-hmm. The next biggest thing that happened today was these two lovebirds calling, saying that they love each other.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I was screaming when I saw this. It took Thomas how long?
About 7 months.
And then he was out the door. And she's like, oh, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
But less than a month.
Yep.
Carter gets an I love you.
Girl, this thing is so... This is what you call bad writing. They just threw some stuff together when they came back from the summer break and began taping season 38. That's the only thing, that this man was nowhere on her radar. Now, all of a sudden, you want us to believe that he had feelings for her. Why would Katie back in 2023 when they were in Rome?
So Katie, what was Katie then? So was he fantasizing about her niece while they were together or something?
Girl, none of this makes sense to me. And then at first, well, Hope, your numbers, they're not looking too good. Now all of a sudden, oh, they can't do this to you. Your line is special and you're an inspiration and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, huh?
I won't let them get away with this, Hope. That is your birthright. That is your family. You deserve to be their Hope. And he's feeding that ego to the point where this girl's saying, I love you, Carter. You stood up to Steffi. You're at the Foresters. You support the Logans. Oh, I love you.
Black Peak Me said, writer, stop playing in our face.
Right. Okay. They listening. I feel that they are listening. Because there's like little moments when I watch both shows, I'm like, oh, okay, they probably do listen to the podcast. But this girl said, I love you ever so quickly, less than a month. She hasn't been on a date with this man, had any real alone time with this man, nothing. But you love him. Like the wind blows, she loves him. Like, come on.
She loved the attention that she gets. Yes. That her love language, like I said earlier today, has to be words of affirmation, because this man was laying it on thick, and she was looking at him like, oh my God, you're right in front of me. And then he's like, I love you, Hope. And I'm like, let me see if because at first I thought she wasn't going to say it back. It took her a little bit. And I love you too. And I'm like, no, she didn't. Mm-hmm.
This is just a mess. This girl was heavily obsessed with Finn. When did she find time to love Carter?
That's what I'm saying. But listen, she shifted her focus the same day. Remember when Taylor was watching that little fashion premiere thing that they did for Brooke, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's that same episode where Carter come up in the room upstairs, and then and Hope was fantasizing about Finn before he walked in the door.
Yeah.
And then he goes into this whole conversation about how he's been thinking about seeing her in lingerie. And then the rest took off.
Like, it's all physical based. Like, and they haven't even, like, we've never, like, they didn't even go on a date. Like, nothing.
Mm-mm.
Like, she made Thomas go through hoops. She wore all of his rings that he gave her every time that he proposed. She found the cutest one and wore it around her neck for months. And then it took this man to come to grips, okay, she really doesn't want to be with me. She walking out the door and then, oh, I love you, Thomas, I love you. Like, I'll tell everybody I love you. All those months. And that man was fully devoted to her. And that's another thing, too. She said, it's finally nice to be with a man who's fully devoted to me and wants me and cares for me. Girl.
Yeah, talking about now I feel like I have you because I have no one in my corner. When you got all them Logans and your siblings and everything else working up there for us, and you ain't got nobody. Girl, stop.
Just a mess. And Belinda Hill, she said, Bree, did you get your thrill on watching Carter snatch off his sweater? For a split second, and then I realized this is the way he's been acting is just not sexy at all. It's, I don't know. The stupidity is not attractive. And granted, yes, I know he's a lawyer and everything, but still, I'm just not for this coupling at all. I'm surprised I haven't seen J Money pop up in here.
But you know what? I was originally wanting to give it a chance. I didn't know it was going to go down to this whole we need to take over Forrester thing. I thought maybe it was just, hey, Hope getting a new man. You know, this right here, with it being Carter, makes zero sense to me.
Yeah. And they rushed it way too quickly. Like, it makes zero sense. Mm-hmm. She wasn't even thinking about this man. She was thinking about Finn, and she had her sights set on Finn because she couldn't have Thomas. Like, it's all of this is like a little domino effect.
Bree, like, all this happened within 6 months. So think about it. For May sweeps, Thomas came back with Paris, and then she was begging this man to get back with her. And then right after let's go back, because Hope started kind of fantasizing about Finn about a month or so after the Sheila thing. So when Sheila, the Sheila Sugar thing happened like in early April. Yeah. So when Sheila had technically, which was Sugar, they had that big memorial thing. We saw Hope connecting with Finn and all of the googly eyes and coming over to help the daughter and all that. Then Thomas came back in May. And then she wanted him back. And then when he left, she was back on Finn. And then she was still on Finn all the way up to mid-September. And then all of a sudden now it's Carter. It's like, what are y'all doing? Y'all can't find nobody since Thomas left. Y'all can't find nobody for this girl?
Yeah. And this goes to show that they're trying to fill like that Thomas position, and they can't.
They can't.
None of it's making any sense. So writers, producers, Red Bell, what's going on with Matt Atkinson? Can you please bring him back? Is there any possibility to bringing this man back, or any hopes to bring Thomas? Because all the couplings is not making any sense. Her trying to go after Finn made absolutely no sense. Besides her wanting to get even with Steffy, that is it. And then they made a whole big deal about her being kindred spirits with Finn, and that she would be a better partner to Finn than Steffy would be, and talking trash and saying that, Steffy's a dictator, and that she's trying to control her man and her marriage by not letting him see Sheila. Like, there's all this dialogue surrounding her and Finn since Thomas left that made absolutely no sense. Mm-hmm. And then she randomly loves Carter within less than 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, Brooke knew about all of this the entire year without saying any of this. You know this girl been coming for Steffy's husband since the spring.
Yeah.
Now you want to act like she's the victim. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
this
mean, they don't
is
even know the half of the conversations that Brooke has been having with her daughter about Finn. When this girl was telling her, like you say, kindred spirits, I
right.
think he's better with me than he is with Steffi. Remember all that, Brooke? But you want to
Yeah,
make it look like, oh no, it's not a problem, or it was a mistake. She didn't mean to kiss Finn. She been plotting this whole thing for months.
yeah. Even trying to put on lingerie for him and a dressing room and having those little deep conversations and trying to flirt with him and saying like a girl can dream of being with a guy like you. Like this is what she's been on. For them to just do flip a switch and say all of a sudden she loves Carter. I'm like, when?
Mm-hmm.
When? The wind blew. She loves Carter. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
He all he did was stood up to Steffi and stood up to the Foresters, and he's trying to put his cape on, trying to think he's going to save this girl, and that was all enough for her to love him.
Mm-hmm. I was
This is
like,
this is poor writing.
I will say though, yeah, I don't know if I should say this or not. Um,
Hey.
no, I say it in the in the chat.
Oh goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I have an idea what you're about to say.
Oh my goodness! And then the
But we did
only
get,
what you say?
I said, but we did get a little loving somewhat.
I guess. I mean, they started. That whole thing was awkward. So they started kissing, ripped the shirt off, and then she decided to push him down on the couch. She unbuttoned her dress, had this little black nightie on or whatever, sit on his lap, and then he pushes her back, on the couch, and then we get a scene from behind the fireplace or something. Because it's not close up, so we can't really see what's going on, which obviously they don't want us to do that. They must got a directive from Sony or something to say, dial back the love scenes.
All of 2024.
Right.
This was such a disappointment. Like I would have been perfect. I would have been okay. It would have been well worth it if we got like a hot, fiery love scene. The way that man put Quinn up against the wall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was like, okay, girl, like, yeah, we forgot about Eric too. What were we gonna see happen?
I mean, they both. I mean, we know what Hope and Thomas did. We know what Quinn and Carter did. So we know they both can bring the heat. They just did not do it here.
Yeah. And it's not. I don't think it's not the actor's fault.
Right. It's what they're trying
production.
to. Right. The producers are dialing it back or watering it down or whatever you want to call it, but it sucks.
And this scares me for the gates. Terrifies me.
I'm wondering what that's gonna look like, girl.
Oh goodness, we got about less than 2 months. Oh goodness.
What do you think this plot is that he's going to do to take down the Foresters?
Honestly, this man is going to create a lawsuit. I think we got witnesses. We got even Brooke saying that Steffy fired this girl for personal reasons. They keep throwing this out there. So I honestly feel it's going to come down to a lawsuit. I'm wondering if either Carter is going to quit or he's going to get fired. But I think that I think he might represent Hope. But that could also be a conflict of interest. So I'm wondering if they might hire on a new lawyer or maybe bring Justin back. I don't know. But a lawsuit is definitely about to happen, without question.
Are you interested in this whole thing with Will and Elektra?
I'll be very honest, I forgot about that.
I did too. I'm like, man, what happened in that scene? I saw them connecting like, oh, it's nice to see you, and oh, I work here. And I'm like, well, okay.
That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so like 2 seconds. Okay. Well, that's all we're gonna give them going forward. We give them 2 seconds. They look cute together. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and then we supposed to, as we head into Thursday and Friday episode, see Poppy and Luna back this week.
Yes. Now that is what I want to see. I wonder if Luna's about to get out.
I don't know. Some people
I don't
think
know.
that she's not redeemable, but in my opinion, a soap you can get redeemed for anything.
Sheila was
Mm-hmm.
redeemed.
Right.
Okay, a baby Sheila could very well be redeemed. Like what if she gets out and is causing an issue between Electra and Will?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she can get the father. Maybe she can get the son. Like, because we were thinking about this prior to her going
Right.
to jail.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I can see that happening. So anything is possible. Like she can get out and like say like, oh, I'm going to outpatient therapy, like they all do.
So we are going to get tomorrow too, and somebody, I think it was Gail that mentioned in the chat that Deacon's going to lash out at Steffy at Irgidino.
Well, I mean, I guess he want to put his 2 cents in, I guess. But I mean, look, he what is he gonna say? Like, your daughter can't have no more pizzas there.
That whole thing, it's like, why? Y'all all getting all mad and stuff and doing crazy work. I'm eating one of these little gummies, sorry.
Oh.
Y'all doing all this crazy work, crashing out over Hope. And oh my God, how could you do this? She's the CEO.
Yeah.
And California is an at-will state. They can fire her for no reason if they wanted to.
Oh, Jenna T said Deacon's supposed to be lashing out at Steffi for firing his daughter. I'm like,
did I say something different?
I think she's probably she probably didn't hear it.
Oh, okay. I'm like, did I make a mistake?
Mm-mm.
But
no,
yeah, so everybody's mad that poor little Hope got in trouble. But poor little Hope did this to herself. She didn't have to be in that office.
She had an opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Bree.
Yeah, she had an opportunity to explain herself.
She had an opportunity to explain herself.
She still wants to keep a hold.
Uh-oh, your phone going out.
See, man.
Can you hear me? Okay, say it again now.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. So she had any opportunity to explain herself. Mm-hmm. She could have used any man. She could have used any man in this chat room. She could have said Dwan. She could have said Tommy Smith. She could have said Redneck, since he wants to risk it all and he got a whole wife. Like anybody.
Well, I mean, my thing is, it just wasn't smart. All she had to, you didn't know if that man was coming back to that office. Why would you even just automatically assume that Carter was coming back? That man left the building.
You know, her cell phone works when she called him when he pulled up with his Camaro or his Corvette. Mm-hmm. But you couldn't call the same man to make sure he's even coming back for secretions before you put on his lingerie. So your cell phone don't work then, but it works after you get fired.
Yeah, that don't even make any sense to me. I mean, I just wish, granted it's for shock value. Obviously, it's a sweeps month. They want to keep, even if it doesn't make sense, it gets people talking, even if it's bad press, I guess. Because it just, none of this makes sense. The I love yous, I mean, I've been thinking about you since 2023. None of this stuff is just any continuity to it.
Right. And we're still trying to figure out if they even have any real chemistry, but the I love yous, that is record time. That's insane.
And like you said, Bree, they haven't even really been on dates. She wasn't even sure about any of this about 2 weeks ago.
Right. Like all they did was talk in the office.
Yep.
That's all they've done. And then she went back to his place, about a week and a half ago. They didn't do anything. And then shortly after, they've been focusing all on her company, not about each other.
Right.
Like, I'm confused.
Mm-hmm.
When did they fall in love with each other? I don't know. This is just such stupid writing.
Mm-hmm.
And Rednecks, is your wife watching this?
What he said?
He keeps saying he wouldn't mind. Sir. You just got married. Don't risk it all for hope. Okay, we see every man goes down a downward spiral getting with this girl.
Right.
She is the Bermuda Triangle. But I'm hoping that November Sweeps provides like some really good drama. If they're doing a lawsuit or of some sort, make it entertaining. They got 5 months.
Yeah, y'all need to figure out what y'all gonna do, because this right here is, as they say, is crazy work. I know some people say it's nasty work, but this is crazy work right here, because it's like y'all just throwing some stuff up against the wall just to get people talking. Mm-hmm. But it don't make sense.
None. Yeah, this right here, Ivy Rose, the wife too. Oh goodness.
What'd she say? I'll make sure she.
Oh goodness.
That's funny. All right, girl. You got anything else with Bold?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, well, Katie had her 2 cents, but it's no different from what Brooke had said. She was trying to bypass Steffy and say, like, oh, you know what? I don't even worry about talking to you. I'm going to talk to Ridge. Once again, everyone has this expectation of Ridge.
Oh, my God. Redneck said that Hope is too old for him, but he don't mind.
Oh, okay.
All right, so Rednecks.
You gonna risk it all. I mean, hey, she's a multimillionaire. I mean, she a little crazy and deranged. Just get in, get out.
So silly.
Don't be like Thomas and wait around for 7 months. But yeah, this is just such a messy situation over at Forced Secretions, and once again, it's messiness within the workplace. There's no competition, no other fashion house. Like, everyone's fighting with each other.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next. I can see somebody going to Eric to try to talk to him about all of this. My question is, what is he going to do?
Depends. Are they going to talk to this man? Well, actually, no. Brooke is going to get to Eric first before anybody, like she always does. Mm-hmm. And then Donna will be there. Katie will be there. He's going to side with Brooke, like he always will do.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree.
And it's going to come down to Ridge being the deciding factor once again.
Yep. And we'll probably be back at square one. It's going to be interesting to see what explosions happen over at Forrester for November sweep. So,
yeah.
All right, you guys. We are going to end it there. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you're notified every time a video is posted. I'm T.
I am Bree.
And we will see you all later. Bye, Soapies.
Night, Soapies.